Moving platforms are probably not something you think much about when it comes to game design, but for the last week, I've become obsessed with making the perfect moving platform. When you first learn how to make a game, you might watch a tutorial on how to make a moving platform, and the ingredients are pretty basic. In Godot, we just use a path and an animatable static body, then you animate it. Make it loop back and forth? Easy, right? Well, you're wrong. This platform sucks. It's limited in its control, the player can't do anything to get it to come back, it's limited in its animation technique, you have to manually animate its behavior, and it's not dynamic in the number of places it can stop. It simply goes from A to B. And yes, this does work from a technical perspective, and it's fine for a basic platform challenge. I don't want to disparage people who teach this method, this is fine for an absolute beginner, but depending on what your goals are for your game, you may need to put substantially more work in these components. The first and most obvious problem is that if you arrive too late and the platform leaves before you get there, then you're left standing there with your sword in your hand, wondering what to do. You gotta wait for the platform to come back. And in today's attention economy, that's boring. The most obvious example I can think of is the elevators in Mulgore in World of Warcraft. I think the idea here was that if you missed it, you could chat with the other players because, well, it's an MMO, but you know how those players are. Not like I was addicted for 5 years. Anyway, the last thing that you want to do is have your player standing around, especially if it's an action game like mine. Downtime isn't always a bad thing and can very often be used for comedic timing or for some kind of narrative to happen. And of course, they can always be used for transitioning a loading screen. But unless the silence has a purpose, I think you generally want to avoid it. The obvious solution here is to create a platform that when you get close to, a switch goes off and the platform will return to the area where the player is. Give your player some things to destroy while they wait, or a character to interact with past the excruciating seconds that the elevator is not here, and excellent. You get on the platform and it'll whisk you away like it's nobody's business. Add a bit of sound and some effects, maybe some screen shake, and you're good to go. Easy. Now, what about the animation player? This is also a major issue in my opinion, as it severely limits the possibilities of our platform. It's manual, and it doesn't intuitively support multiple stops on your platform. The only way that you could do that would be to add multiple keyframes and move along the animation timeline for the places you want to stop in the path, which hopefully you're looking at in disgust and not in curiosity. This is too much work. A much better option is to either use lerp or to use a tween. Personally, I prefer tweens for their transition options, but more on that later. A tween is an object that dynamically animates properties. If you want to learn more, I have a whole video on. Tweens give us two things that the animation player doesn't: the ability to dynamically choose the position that the platform stops at, and the ability to choose the behavior. Rather than it be a linear progression, we can have something like quint or expo for horizontally moving platforms that allow us to give the player a bit more time before the player gets on the platform. We still have to do a bit of math to work out the correct duration for consistent speeds between distances, but I think this is a fair trade-off, and I'd rather do that than custom easing. A really cool thing you can do here is expose these two variables, and you can choose them when you're setting up the platform. You can do a lot of really fun things with this, like use the trans bounce or spring to make the platform overshoot its stopping point, and then change the easing so it only does that when it ends and not when it starts. So once you have this set up, you can have any number of stops. You might not want multiple stops, but I think it gives the platform a lot of flexibility. Now, you must be asking yourself what might possess someone to become this obsessed with platforms, and, well, it might be medical. But also what I found was, since my game is going to be a Metroidvania and the player might backtrack from time to time, if you end up on the wrong side of an elevator, then you're not going to be able to progress through that point. And that's going to feel really bad. Interestingly enough, a perpetually moving platform wouldn't cause this issue, but I wanted my platforms to be more interesting and more interactive, which leads me to the third thing that we need to have. If your platform only moves on demand, then if you arrive at a position where the platform isn't, then you might have an issue on your hands. This is something that I discovered when I was designing my first platform. I want the platform to remember its last position that it was in. So if you take the platform to the top and then return to this room later on from the bottom again, then you're going to be stuck there. And going back around would be some serious backtracking. So we need to have buttons. Buttons to call the platform if we find ourselves on a level in which this platform isn't. These can be triggered in any way with a button press or a floor trigger. A favorite of mine, however, is to make it something you can hit. There's something so satisfying about shooting or whacking something to make the platform awry. These aren't as complicated as they appear. Thanks to the power of components, I just need to add a hurt box that detects the player's bullets and emits a signal when the player shoots the button. And the same as with the proximity trigger. The only difference is that the bullet triggers the button and the other one, the player does. In my opinion, these make your moving platforms a lot more functional and a lot more flexible. Yes, you can still have your moving platform for platforming challenges. It's even better if you use tweens because you get the extra transition animations, but now we can also incorporate platforms to add more depth to our level design and give our player more things to interact with within the game world. I was planning to just make a tutorial video on this, but instead I opted to make a devlog. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see that tutorial. I figured that it would be pretty similar to what's out there already. You just have to swap the animation player with a tween and then trigger the animations with an area 2D. Oh, and add buttons. You get the idea. Either way, I hope you found this helpful. Thank you again to the channel supporters, and I'll see you all next time.